Okay, so this is going to be a quick little video about how to do binomial expansion with, I guess you call it a box or table method that we talked about in class. First of all, let's quick review Pascal's triangle and how we develop that. So we start off with a triangle of ones, and then remember that the rows that follow each have ones to start, and the other terms come from adding the two terms above them. So the next row would be 1, 2, 1, and the following row would be 1, 3, 3, 1. And then finally, for this example, we actually need the next row, which is 1, 4, 6, 4, 1. And the reason why we need this row is because our exponent is 4. And so when we use the box or the table method, we start off on our first row, we choose the appropriate line from Pascal's triangle, which in this case would be 1, 4, 6, 4, 1. Then we go to the first term of the binomial, and in this case it's 3x squared. And so we're going to take 3x, I'm sorry, not 3x squared, but 3x, and we're going to raise it to descending order of power, starting with the 4. And so this first term is going to be 3x to the 4th power. So what this really means right here is in this spot, we're going to put 3x, raise it to the 4th power. So it's going to be 3 to the 4th power, which is 81, and then x to the 4th. In the next spot, it's going to be 3x to the 3rd power, so it's going to be 3 to the 3rd, which is 27, and x to the 3rd. The next spot is going to be 3x squared, so 3 squared is 9, and then x squared. The next one's 3x to the 1st, so 3 to the 1st and x to the 1st would make 3x, and then 3x to the 0 power, which of course is 1. Now for the final line, we're going to take the other term, which is -2, and we're going to raise it to ascending order power, so starting at the lowest power, which is 0, and working up to the 4. So this first one right here is going to be -2 to the 0 power, which of course we know is 1. The next one is going to be, so this one right here is going to be -2 to the 1st power, which is -2. Then -2 squared, and so -2 squared is +4. Then -2 to the 3rd power, which is -8. And then finally -2 to the 4th power. So -2 multiplied by itself 4 times would give us a +16. Now our final step is to multiply down the columns. So we just simply multiply the terms, and that gives us our final answer. So 1 times 81x to the 4th times 1 is 81x to the 4th power. Then down the next column, we have a 27 and a 4 and a -2 to multiply. So 4 times 27 is 108 times -2 is -216, and then that's x cubed. Down the next column, we have a 6 and a 4 and a 9 to multiply, and so 6 times 9 is 54. 54 times 4 is another 216, so that's 216, but this time it's x squared. Next column is 4 times 3 times -8, so 4 times -8 is -32, times 3 is -96, and that was a -96x, and finally the last column, 1 times 1 times 16, which is 16. So again, we accomplished the second row by taking the first term in the binomial and raising it to descending order of power, starting at 4 and going down to 0. And for the final row, we took the second term, which is -2 in this case, and started at 0 and went in ascending or increasing order from a power of 0 up to a power of 4. And our final step was to multiply down the columns to get our final expanded polynomial.